Good morning and welcome to another pre-market session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader, and let's let's begin. As usual, we start off with our risk disclosure here, just to kind of let everybody know that all the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that futures does carry a fair amount of risk. It is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. So now that we have the risk disclosure out of the way, we're going to go ahead now and move into our finance news here. What we have in the way of news that could impact the markets here. Okay. So we'll just move this over here and review what we have today. Okay. So looking at the news, we have ADP that's already has reported. We had a couple of Fed members, Bostic and Cook, speak, but I would say that the main ones is the S&P Services PMI coming in, the corporate PMI, and the ISM Services PMI. Okay, and then obviously for those who trade crude oil, okay, we have the EIA crude oil report at 10:30 Eastern, okay? And then we obviously have the potential of some comment coming out of our president here that could have a potential impact on the markets. All right. So now that we have a feel for the news here, some of the news still to be reported here. 9:45 and 10. Okay. 9:45 and 10 a.m. Are still a couple of news events that could impact the markets. And then for those who trade crude oil, we have the inventory reports coming in at 10:30 a.m. Okay. So let's go ahead now and move into the charts and start to see what the markets have to offer. Okay. So we'll go ahead and open up our portal here. And let's see. Okay, let's start off with the gold market here. So let's open up the gold. All right. Let's share our screen. I don't believe I'm sharing my appropriate screen anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And let's see, move this up here. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and reshare our screen. And we're going to go ahead and open up the portal here. Okay. So you can see, so hopefully now you can see the screen. So we're going to go ahead and begin our review here. So let me go ahead and turn off some of these elements here for now. Settlement price will keep, initial balance will keep, especially for gold here. Okay, so we're going to start off with the daily chart. I always like starting the market or starting our review with the daily chart and get a sense for what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay, so you can see here that we've remained in this sort of consolidation range in the gold. Okay, 3508 here to the top side, and down by let's say 3200 to the bottom side. Okay, So if we review the trend of late, you can see that we are making some higher highs and higher lows. And you can see that this 3450 level, okay, has been a problem, has been a bit of a problem for this market in the past, okay? So looking from left to right, you can see that we are still very much in a bullish market, right? Higher highs and higher lows. I would say that maybe of late, over the last say month or so, we've been more in a more of a consolidation pattern of sorts. Okay, so maybe you can think of this more as maybe a little bit of an ascending wedge. Okay, so if I were to draw something along these lines, right, this is kind of the pattern that I'm kind of seeing at the moment on the daily. Okay, we're kind of in this ascending wedge, coming into the apex of this wedge that could result in some sort of move, either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, so we'll go ahead and remove that. We'll move down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, we'll kind of drill into some of these areas. We're going to turn off initial balance here for a moment and kind of take a closer look at what the market is trying to accomplish of late here. Okay, so you can see here of late, we're starting to create some higher highs and higher lows. We've broken some structure here to the left-hand side at 33.65. We've come back to that same level, and it's been supportive. Okay, you can see the reaction away from this 33.65 level. Still obviously very much a developing candle here, but nonetheless we are getting a little bit of a reaction here away from 33.65. If this manages to hold and maybe potentially get above 3,400, that could lead us to another continuation leg higher. Okay, in this market. All right. Moving down to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and actually turn off some of these bands here. Upper band, lower band. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we've been a little bit in range. Okay, of late. Okay, in this market, right? We've been in this consolidation range. We have the 33.95 level that we had mentioned in the 4-hour chart that we needed to get above to kind of continue this potential move to the upside. We have another level, a minor level here around 33.90. Okay, so looking at this market on the shorter time frame, you can see even more that we are in a bit of a range. Let's go ahead now and see where price is in relation to yesterday. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the, the start of yesterday's session, drag that across to today, okay? And you can see that price technically opened inside value, but we immediately moved outside of value and now kind of retesting some of these highs here around, let's just call it 33.90, okay? So we see that price is above our daily VWAP. We're going to go ahead and add to this chart a anchor VWAP here for the start of London. I always like to do an anchor VWAP on London just to get a sense of where price is in relation to the London session. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of, I would say, bullish kind of sentiment at the moment. We have price above value from yesterday, so people are willing to pay a premium, all right, to participate to the upside in this market. We have price above our anchor VWAP and also above our daily VWAP, also indicating that there is a fair amount of interest here to the upside. So we're going to go ahead now and open up our initial balance range. We're going to go ahead and change that. It's probably set for Asia, so we'll go ahead and make sure that is set for US. Okay, so there's our initial balance range. We still have another we need to wait for this candle to close here in the next 17 minutes in order to establish the range. Okay, so we'll have to see which direction participants want to take this market, whether they wish to take this market to the upside or to the downside. But we are seeing some evidence of bullish, right, price action at the moment. We are coming up against the level. It'll be interesting to see if we are able to get above this level and that could open up the door for maybe some prices higher. If we are unable, then maybe we continue a bit, maybe a little bit of a retracement here. Maybe we come back, retest maybe the value area high here before we make another potential move to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're gonna add on our ASR level, our ADR levels here. So we're still kind of in the middle of the range. We have our ADR high up here, our ADR low down below. Price is somewhere in the middle of this range. Okay. We're gonna go also open up our ASR here and see where we are in relation to ASR. I'm gonna go ahead and open up London here for a moment just to see where we are in relation to the London session. So you can see that we remain in the in range. Okay. Also, right, we during the London session we have not reached either of the highs or the lows of London. Okay, so still very much I would say in range as we head into the market. I would say that we probably need to look for some additional information here. We have some evidence that market participants want to take this market higher. Okay, I would say that remaining above the value area high here will be important. Okay. Let's say this 33.82 level. Let's say 33.8. Let's call it 33.80. Okay. Remaining above value area high is going to be relatively important for the bulls to kind of maintain the momentum here to the upside. Okay. If price begins to close back inside value, then we could expect maybe a rotation back to the lows of the session, lows of the day, and a retest of those lows before we maybe continue in the range today. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for you in the gold market. Hey, Trader Dubois. Okay, so you can see that we are very much in range. I think we still need to wait for some more information in this market to kind of guide us as to the direction that they want to take the market. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's unless there's any questions on the gold market, I would say that we need to wait for some additional information. There is maybe some slight evidence that market wants to head higher. It'll be interesting for me, again, looking at this, whether this is some sort of retracement. Okay, then I would expect that price would eventually, if we are going to move into some sort of trend, that price would get above this bearish channel that we've drawn here, and that could lead to another leg higher. Right now, we're having a little bit of trouble up against the upper end of this channel. You can see that by the doji pattern that we're developing. That'll close out here in the next 13 minutes or so. Okay. All right, so that's kind of what I have for the gold market. Let's go ahead now and move into the crude oil. Okay, looking at the crude oil market, we'll start by looking at the daily here. Okay, so you can see similar to gold. We're going to go ahead and turn off some of these levels temporarily. Okay, initial balance we'll turn that on a little bit later. It almost seems that the crude oil market is kind of a mirror of the gold. Okay, so while gold has been kind of consolidating on the upper end of the range, we have crude oil kind of consolidating on the lower end of the range. So you can see here that the 64 level still continues to be a resistant level, and then we have some support down below here around 58, maybe as low as 56. Okay, so we are in this kind of tight range in a market that's been down, okay, for some time. Okay, of late has been in some sort of range environment. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, just kind of looking at this from a 4-hour level. Again, we're just kind of magnifying into some of these candles here. You can see again, we are continuing. We have broken some supports, some resistant levels here at 63. We've come back to retest those levels, and so far they've been supportive here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw that line. You can see that we've broken the level. We've come back and retested, and we found some some more buyers, okay? But we still have 64 to contend with, okay? 64 has been a level that's been tested multiple times here of late, okay? We're going to go ahead and mark that level as an area of resistance here, okay? So you can see here that we have had one test, two tests, three tests, four tests. Now, eventually, given the frequency of these tests, at some point, this area is going to break. Is that area going to break today as a result of EIA? We'll have to see. Okay, but the fact that we're retesting these levels, and notice that, okay, nice reaction the first time, relatively good reaction the second time, not such a big reaction the third time, the fourth time even less, before we got some sort of reaction to the positive side. So we are building momentum for a break to the upside. Okay. So again, there is momentum coming into the market that's leading me to believe that there is a breakout higher in this market coming. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and move on to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance to start. There's our initial balance range. We're going to go ahead and remove some of the drawings here. And let's see, looks like we got a couple of, this is yesterday. Okay, so we have our initial balance range. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile just to get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's session here. So we're going to go ahead and open this up here to the close here. Okay, so you can see that we opened below value. Okay, so we opened below value and quickly have moved into value from yesterday. Okay, initially opening thinking that folks were willing to pay a premium to participate to the downside. It found some buyers, and now we're challenging or looking to get price back inside the value range. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see where our anchored VWAP is in all of this. So we're going to locate London here. There's London. So with this opening candle, we managed to get above both the daily and the anchored VWAP, which is very much a bullish move. Now, the only issue that I have right now is because we've been in range, we have a relatively flat VWAP, right? So we've been above, below, and now we're currently above this market, above the level. Okay. So if I'm going to entertain, something to the bullish side, I need to see a break of structure to the upside. So I'm going to mark this 63.70 level as the first, what the market needs to prove to me in order to begin to consider, a bullish move. We are developing a rather strong bullish engulfing candle. So that in and of itself is probably evidence that the market participants want to take this higher. But I'm going to wait for some additional evidence, okay? Because if I'm going to be in range, I do not want to be in part of, this kind of price action. So I'm going to wait for a candle, okay, to close above the initial balance range, okay, right, before I entertain anything to the bullish side, okay? If I get a definitive push to the upside with some volume, this particular candle has a fair amount. So we've gotten 4,000 more buy orders than sell orders with this one candle here. Okay. So obviously there is a fair amount of interest in taking this market here to the bullish side. Okay. We still have about 6 more minutes for this candle to close before we can determine whether this is going to close as strong. If so, then the next piece of evidence that I need to see is a close above initial balance, above this area of resistance for a potential move to the upside. Okay. Now, the other area that could pose to be a problem here is going to be our value area high. So that's, again, that 63.80 levels. We have a couple of levels here that we need to get through. And then we're going to go ahead and open up our ASR and ADR levels here So you can see that we have some support here at 62.45, and here's that 64 level that we had talked about before that could potentially be an area of resistance in this market. So this area 64 has been tested multiple times as we've been in this range for some time. Okay. So as I head into the market, I would say that I'm looking for more evidence for participation to the upside in this market, looking for maybe a potential move to the upside, but I'm going to wait for price to lead me to that conclusion. All right, let's go ahead and start to take a look at the NASDAQ as we approach the open here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily here. And looking at the daily in this market, you can see that we're starting to create some structure that leads us to believe that higher prices are in the mix here in this market. Okay, you can see that we have a consolidation pattern, but the head of it is pointing to the upside. Okay, so we have a bit of structure here, right? That's leading us to believe that maybe there's some more price action, right? That could lead us to further move to the upside. Okay, now with that said, okay, we are at a level or coming to a level 22,000. This level right here on the daily, I would say is going to be relatively important. This 22,300 level. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that level right here. Okay, I would expect that to be resistant to price. Okay, this is the most recent high that we've had back in February. I don't expect that price is just going to roll over. Okay, I expect that price to potentially hold. Okay, and potentially we would get some sort of reversal away from that level before any additional moves to the upside. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, you can see that we are continue to make some higher highs and higher lows. We're coming up on this 21,800 level. We're going to have this kind of immediate resistance to this current move. However, we are, as you can see, sloping to the upside. Okay, giving us the indication that maybe there is some more upside potential in this market. We have a couple of areas where sellers could potentially step in, the most immediate of which is the 21,820 level. It'll be interesting to see if we can get above that on the 4-hour side, and that could open up the door to maybe 22,200, 22,300. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see where price will open. Let's open up our fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at yesterday's session here. Okay, drag that across to the close of yesterday's session here. Let's see, it was right about here. Okay, so you can see right now that we're inside value. Okay, inside value, inside balance. So at least to start, it appears that we're going to be in some sort of balance range. So the fact that we're in some sort of balance range, it leads me to believe that we're not in any hurry to go in any one direction. Okay, that folks are content with current pricing. Now, we did make an attempt during the overnight to get above this area of balance. It's been rejected. Okay, I don't know if this was a news generated move. But we see that there was no acceptance of price above 21,750. Okay, so that's something that we need to make a note of. Okay, if we continue to hold that level, okay, we need to continue to hold that level. That's going to lead us to potential continuation move here to the downside. We're going to go ahead and open up our ADR levels. Our ADR levels, we're still a ways away. We have 21,875 on the upside. We have 21,500 on the bottom side as our range. We'll go ahead and add our ASR here to this discussion here. Let's see if I can locate it. There it is. Okay, so looking at London, the most recent session. Okay, you can see that it did not make either end of the range. There's basically, we've been in range kind of price action during the overnight. Okay, so no real direction as to where they want to take this market at the moment. Okay, So we need to wait for this initial balance range to establish, and then have the initial balance range offer us maybe some insights as to where they want to take this market. What we have evidence of is that the initial push above has not been received so well. Okay, has not been received so well. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if this value area high, let's say around 21,750, will continue to be resisted. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and yeah. So I would say that heading into the session here, I would say that I need maybe some additional information in the market. I'm going to wait for the initial balance range to establish, and then let the participants tell me which direction of initial balance they want to take the market. So I would say I'm heading into the market thinking more range. Okay, that I would expect to see more range price action in this market, and basically wait for some additional information to decide on which direction I want to take this. Okay. All right. Looking at the ES, moving on to down to the daily here, you can see that similar to the NASDAQ, we're starting to see continue to see some evidence that they want to take this market higher. Okay. We have a gap that was left back in middle of May. Okay. That has technically not been filled. All right. So this is a supportive area here. Okay. This area right here is supportive down by 5,700. Okay. We are challenging the highs here. Okay. So we're kind of peaking. We've already peaked once, and now we're trying to peak above again. Okay. Around this, close to this 6,000 level. Okay. If we do manage to get above that level and close, well, that could potentially lead us back to the highs here around 6,100, 6,175. Okay. Maybe as high as 6,200 here. Okay. But nonetheless, you can see on the daily chart that we are very much in an uptrend. Okay. So at least from a higher time frame, we need to continue to look for opportunities to the bullish side. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're getting a little bit more visibility, a little bit more zooming in on these daily candles. You can see that we continue to, I guess, of late, make some higher highs and higher lows. We had a nice, kind of trending day here on Tuesday. Okay. And the question is, are we going to get a similar day here Wednesday? Okay. Everybody's asking the question, and the question that needs to be asked is, can we get above 6,000? Okay. 6,000 is going to be an interesting level. As you can see here, the last time we were here, that caused a little bit of a sell-off. Okay. Now I'm looking back here to see how many times we've tested this level. Well, this is the first test, and we're about to test this one other time. The question is now, is this level gonna introduce, or somewhere around this level, is this going to find some sellers in this market? Okay. Is this level going to find some of the sellers that came into this market the last time we're here? Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. The market is technically open at this point. So you can see that we'll just take a peek here at where price opened up in relation to yesterday's pricing here. So we're going to go ahead and drag that across to the close here. And you can see that technically we opened up at the upper end of the range. We're making a little bit of a push here to the upside. Okay. The initial balance range just opened here. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if this 30-minute candle can get above or remain above this value area high. And if so, that could lead to a leg higher, okay, in this market. Okay. So if we can get above, say, 59.95, which is another intermediate level here, just looking at the bodies of this consolidation area, if we do manage to close above this level, then I would say obviously that 66,000 is going to be challenged. Okay. We're seeing a good amount of volume come into this market, about 20,000 more buy orders than sell orders at this moment in time. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see, okay, to see if this current candle will indeed close above value. And more importantly, can it close above 59.95? Okay. We have 3 consecutive candles here. Okay. leading up to this that have all been to the bullish side. Okay, we had just prior to the market an attempt to go higher, only to be received by sellers. The question is, do we have any sellers here that remain? So we'll have to see if price is able to get above this level here. Let's go ahead and add the anchor VWAP just to get a sense for where London what say does London have with all of this. You can see that price is now above VWAP, is above our anchor VWAP, and I'm almost a little bit of inclined here to go ahead and add an anchor VWAP to the start of the session here, or at least to the this area here. Okay, so assuming that we can, given the move that we have here, assuming that we can stay above this anchor this pivot, okay, that there is more interest here to some upside move. Okay, you're welcome, George. Okay. Yeah, so I would say that as long as price remains above this VWAP, these series of VWAPs, that there's more upside, maybe opportunity in this market, and it appears to be supported with volume. All right, so let's close off this session with a quick look at the Dow. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the daily chart here. Okay. Okay, so similar to what we've been seeing in the other markets, we continue to be in some sort of bullish structure, maybe a little bit more in range than maybe the others here on the daily. We can see that the 42,800 level is an area of maybe some potential resistance, actually a little bit higher. 42,875 does appear to be an area of some resistance above here. Okay, so we are coming up on some sort of area of resistance, but leading up to it, we've been on a rather strong move here to the upside. Okay, moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here. Okay, we'll take a look at this. Okay, so you can see here of late since Monday, right? If we look at this, we made some higher highs and higher lows in this market, and we continue in that path. We have an area here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this level, okay, as an area of resistance. We'll call it 42,740, 745. And then we have another level. Let's go to adjust this here up here probably to the 43,000 level, okay? So this area here could locate some sellers. Okay, so we have to be cognizant of that, right? We still technically in the control of whoever sold off the market. Now, if we do manage to get above 43,000, then we could start to begin to make a case for maybe some additional higher pricing here. Okay, but this level here is going to be interesting to see as the day develops, whether these areas are going to remain intact, or whether we can get above, at least in the short term, above 42,740. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and do the same kind of analysis we've done on the other markets. Here, we're going to open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to locate the start of Tuesday here, drag that to the close of Tuesday here, and you can see that price technically opened below, okay, below value. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up our initial balance as well. Okay. So you can see here that we opened up below value, although on the upper end of value. Now we are currently trying to get above. You can see that that's been met with a fair amount of selling. Okay. So we have 1,000 more sell orders than buy orders at this moment in time, which is causing this wick that we're seeing. Okay, so the question is, are the sellers who are present, right, with these two candles, with these two bars, are very much present? Are they going to have the resources to continue to drive price lower? Okay, if you look at the most recent volume delta bars here. The volume delta bars, right? There's a fair amount of selling pressure that we're currently getting in this market. Now, the question is, again, do they have the resources to continue to drive price lower? Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to be curious to see how strong this 30-minute candle closes. Okay. If this 30-minute candle is able to close above this area of structure, even with this push that we're seeing in volume, that speaks volumes for maybe a continuation move to the upside. Again, we'll have to remain patient. Again, I'm not really super interested in participating in the market while I'm inside this initial balance range. I'd like to see, if I am going to be long, then I need to see this candle firm up and get above this area of structure here around 42,700. The VIX is low. Okay, so that's even a case. That's even a case that maybe the equities will rally, right? That's even a case for the equities could rally. If we have a low VIX, that's actually a good good segue here, right? I can overlay the VIX chart here. Okay, right? So you can see the VIX here. Let's see if I can bring that in. Okay, I don't know if you guys see that here on the left-hand side. Let me do this a different way. Let's settings. No, that's not it. Yeah, possibly. No doubt. No doubt. Okay. So in any case, here you can see that we let's see if I can do this one other time here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and add the VIX to a new price scale. Okay. All right. So you can see here. Okay. So this is especially for the equities is a very good indicator here, right? So we have a descending VIX, right? Something we've discussed recently, right? We have a descending VIX. A descending VIX indicates that maybe there is people have some certainty in the market, okay, and that offers us maybe some further opportunity to the upside, okay. All right, let's do one last peek here at all the markets before we close off here, okay. So looking at the gold. Okay, so the gold is still very much inside initial balance. Really nothing to do at this point in time, okay, other than to wait for market participants to decide on which direction they want to take the market. If the equities are indeed looking to go higher, I would say that would probably translate to some pressure in gold to go lower, okay? Generally, there's an inverse correlation between the equities and the gold. So I would say that there's maybe there's an opportunity for a bearish move in the gold market today. I'd like to see price get below this area of structure, below 33.70, and that could open up the door to maybe a move lower. Okay, so yeah, so given the what we're seeing in the equity markets, potential maybe bearish opportunity developing in the gold market. Looking at the crude oil market again, we have EIA today. EIA, there's at least some signals here that we could potentially head higher in this market. So I would say that it's looking more bullish to me. The crude oil, but again, we are about 45 minutes away from this market. Some important news coming into this market. You can see the volume delta bars are all to the positive side. Okay. So we have a more buy market orders than sell, okay, indicating that there's a fair amount of push here to the upside, okay. And then we'll close off again with one final look of the equity markets here, okay. You can see that we are seeing a little bit of push. We see a declining VIX, okay. You can even look at this on a lower time frame, right? You can look at it can have the VIX in kind of a background. Okay, so we got a little bit of a spike in the VIX that caused the price to lower. We have VIX is kind of hovering around this 19 level, which is a stable level. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. I think right now, if we do manage to if we do manage to hold, let's say above 21,765, that it could offer us maybe an opportunity for maybe a move here to the upside. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my 30-minute chart. We do see a little bit of selling going on at the moment. This level here that I mentioned, this 21,750 level, is going to be an important level to remain bullish. I would say we need to stay above that price point there. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's what I have for you in this pre-market review. I know we're already kind of technically inside the session now, but open to any questions that you guys may have. If not, then we'll go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions with trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Don't be hesitant to comment, leave a few likes, thumbs up, on this session. That's always appreciated. And again, look forward to our next pre-market session with you guys. Okay. Talk soon.